to the marketplace. So if you've underinvested in the cycle, you're going to be paying the price for that in higher prices in the market. And that's going to feed into inflation for, at least a decade, maybe longer, depending on what types of things we're talking about. So again, it's hard to even put a number on it, because as the thing became more disfavored, companies like BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, banks like JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo and Citi, who are engaging in it, who are part of things like the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero and the Net Zero Bankers Alliance and the Net Zero Asset Managers. They've left all those and they've pretended that it was all a bunch of marketing. We were really doing that much. We never really had much of effect on the market. Well, that's because they're getting sued by 19 state AGs for antitrust activities in the coal market. So now it's to their advantage to downplay how much of an effect that they were having. But if you look back at their quotes, back at the heyday, at the height of their power, that is not what they were talking about. So again, I apologize. I know it's not very satisfying to hear sort of vague notions, but this effort was so monumental and so far reaching, it's hard to truly put a number, because you have to figure out what would have happened had they not engaged in this kind of cartel-like activity. And so unfortunately, both shareholders and consumers alike are going to be paying a price for these activities. Even if they ended today, which they haven't. BlackRock, for example, is still engaging in all kinds of radical extremist behavior in corporate America. But even if they ended today, we would still feel the effects of the underinvestment in a lot of these disfavored industries, from ag to mining to fossil fuels, for a very long time. And I will note, there are some, to go back to your previous question, there are some anecdotes I can mention in terms of give people a sense of magnitude. I mean, most people are going to know about the Budweiser example, where they fell from America's #1 beer to, I think, 2 or 3rd or maybe even 4th place. I think they've wobbled around a little bit since then, but they haven't come back to the top. And I know that Target, after the huge controversy over having the quote unquote tuck bathing suits for kids, pushing transgender ideology with their products right in the front of the stores, saw massive declines. I think I heard as high as 30% in some areas of the country in foot traffic and sales. And you've seen that company try to course correct. They've completely eliminated their DEI program, from what I understand, at least publicly, that's what they're stating. And they've changed a lot of their marketing materials. I don't think they engage in Pride Month really at all throughout most of the country. There might be some areas that are particularly woke geographically, where they